Hey there, how's it going? You ever wonder what kind of modes Diablo Immortal is going to come with? Is it going to have regular modes, multiplayer modes, PvE, PvP? Is it going to be seasonal? Are we going to have rotational modes? Are there going to be some things that you don't even know about? Well, today in this video, we're going to discuss all of that, every mode that's possible in this game, and some of my ideas, some of the modes that I think would be really awesome in Diablo Immortal. Let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Nemo. Welcome to another Diablo Immortal video. Today, we're talking about game modes. We're going to talk about what's possible in Diablo Immortal. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, and I'm really excited about that. So today, we're going to outline all the game modes, and I'm going to give you my idea. I actually have a couple of different ideas for really cool game modes for Diablo Immortal. We were just actually talking about that on the Immortal podcast. A show, by the way, that I co-host with my friend Echo Gaming. I'll link a second episode for you up top. You should definitely check that one out. It was really cool. It was on Diablo Immortal lore. We talked about a backstory to Diablo Immortal. Nineball was a really awesome Diablo lore expert. He came on the show and hung out with us. The show is definitely cool. You want to check that out. So, as far as the game modes, let's get started. Now, generally speaking, Diablo has kind of always been a PvE type of a game. PvE means player versus environment. This is when you're playing by yourself against a computer, or you have some of your friends join you and you play together against the AI. That's the PvE. There's also PvP. There is a little bit of PvP in Diablo, and that's player versus player. This is where you'd be going up against somebody else in a multiplayer, battle royale, that type of environment. That's a player versus player. But generally speaking, it's been a PvE type of environment. Now in Diablo Immortal, there's going to be a whole bunch of different stuff, but let's talk about it. Now let's talk about the PvE aspect first. Generally, you'll have the campaign mode. This is where you're going to be able to play by yourself and beat the game. You're also going to have your friends who are going to be able to join you in co-op campaign mode like normal. You can also do probably some sort of an adventure mode, right? Adventure co-op mode where you can do bounties, you can do a bunch of stuff out there in the open world with your friends. That's going to be the co-op modes. Now, there's also open world in Diablo Immortal. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different missions and things that you're going to be able to do, side quests, all kinds of different activities that are out there in the world that you're going to be able to participate in just by being there. So you can do that with yourself, probably with your friends, and most likely with whoever the local players are that are around that area are going to be able to jump in and do those events together, like similar to Destiny and a few other games where if you're around the area and something happens, you jump in with whoever's around and it's you against the AI or the computer. So you're playing with other players in a PvE type of experience. Then we're going to have a PvP type of experience. That's just where you would jump in and load in and basically go against another player or a team of other players. Now, you've played a bunch of different games like Call of Duty, I'm sure, and lots of different games where this type of environment where you jump in and you're playing games like Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and so many other ones. We can do these types of things. Now in Diablo Immortal, I don't know exactly how that would work, but a multiplayer, a player versus player, whether it's single, free-for-all, some sort of a team-based game, would be really cool to see. So something I'm sure that they're working on. Now, at the same time, there's also a possibility for maybe something like a battle royale. That would be kind of wild. Now, Echo Gaming, a good friend of mine, right? The person that actually co-hosts the Immortal podcast has a video on this that's pretty cool. He talks about the battle royale aspect of this. He also talks about the seasonal aspect, having specific modes come into the game for only certain seasons to kind of test it out, to see how it is. There's a lot of stuff that he goes into. I'll link that video for you up top. If you want to kind of expand on the PvP or listen to what he's talking about when it comes to Battle Royale and the seasonal stuff, I kind of really like it. Definitely cool stuff. I'll link the video for you up top. You should definitely go check him out. Let him know that Nemo sent you. So there's those modes, right? That's the PvP and the PvE mode. Now there could be a variety of these types of off modes, but generally speaking, PvE and PvP, those are kind of the modes. There could be seasonal modes. You could have like a lot of games have like gunslinger modes where it's like 2v2, 3v3, lots of varieties. But in general, that's what it kind of is. Well, there's also a bunch of other stuff that's available, that's possible, I think. And this is where my idea comes in. Let me tell you about what my idea for a game mode for Diablo Immortal would be. You ever heard of a PvPE experience. A PvPE. So player versus environment. You will play a game called Destiny. In there, there's a mode called Gambit. And this would actually work really well. Not this exact mode, but this will work really well in Diablo Immortal. Let me explain it to you. So let's say we have 4v4 matches, team matches, 4v4 or 6v6. We'll go with 6v6 because it just makes more sense, a lot more fun. So we have 6 players on one team, we have 6 players on the other team. When you load into the game, into the match, you're not actually going to go and try to find those players because they're not going to be in your realm. No. Now, my idea is, have you ever heard of a mode called PvPE? Player versus environment. There is a bunch of different game modes like that, but the closest one that would work really well with Diablo Immortal, I'll break it down for you, but if you ever played Destiny, Gambit is pretty close to this. So what happens is, let's say a 4v4 or a 6v6. In fact, we'll go with a 6v6. It seems like it would be a lot more fun. So 6 players on one team, 6 players on the other team. They load into separate worlds and they start playing. In those worlds, what you have to do is a variety of tasks. You have to kill a bunch of mobs. You have to finish specific puzzles, do a bunch of stuff. And when you kill these bosses, you get tokens. Similar to how you would in a Rift. You collect the tokens and bring them back to the station. You deposit them into the station. Whichever team deposits X amount of tokens first spawns the prime evil. And then you fight the prime evil. That's the end boss. Now both teams do it on separate realms. So they're fighting their own bosses. Whoever kills the boss first, whichever team kills the boss first, ends up winning. But what ends up happening is, every so often, let's say every minute or two, 1 or 2 players from each team can jump over realms, go to the other side, and hunt down the other players to stop them from completing the tasks or completing and beating the prime evil. So the race is against the prime evil, and it's against the PvE aspect of it. But at the same time, you have 1 or 2 players that can jump back and forth and do PvP as well. So you're going against the computer, you're also going against the players, and there's a lot of different aspects to this. Do you defend yourself? Do you hunt the players that are jumping in? Or do you go for the primeval, try to beat that? At the same time, on the other side, do you go for the primeval, or do you send in some assassins to the other side to try to stop them while you beat the primeval? There's a lot of exciting stuff that happens. There's usually a switch, best of 3 or best of 5, and it becomes a really exciting game, I think. For Diablo Immortal, this would be really, really cool. Kind of a rift. So it'd be 2 rifts together, and whoever kind of beats the rift first, or greater rift, whichever you want to call it, beats the first wins. But at the same time, you could also have a mode where we can jump back and forth and mess with each other. I think that would be an awesome mode for Diablo Immortal for PvPE type of experience. What do you think about that? Let me know down below. Sound off below. Let me know what you think about my idea. If you have your own ideas, I would love to hear about it. Let me know down below. I read every comment. I answer every one of your comments because I love to listen to your ideas. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.